beautiful. Saw you were in Spokane. Just wanted to hit you up. If you're age phobic, I'm 40. I hope not, because I like BLM and I hate bigotry. There's about 300 studies on 35 to 55-year-old sperm. I'm telling you this because I'm pursuing a career in genetics and want to get a PhD. It's going to take me 20 years to do, but I'm writing a dissertation on it. Age gap breeding. The fecal ova is 18 to 25. The fecal sperm, as per 300 studies, is 35 to 55. You might be like, ew, and I might be like, I think I'll block you, because age phobia is a form of bigotry. Also, there's a lot of classism amongst the ACAB, and I'm ACAB-y. I don't like the cops. So it's like, oh, you're a communist, but I have to have a certain amount of money for you to date me. It ain't gonna fly. I live in a homeless shelter. I'm trying to get an apartment. But like the classism where you're like, oh, you're a broke. But you see a lot of the left-wingers doing it. So anyway, beautiful Sage, I just wanted to say I like your pictures. You seem cute. I'm real tired of Spokane's whole attitude of like 2 chicks to a dude or more. We're left-wing, and that's greed. Bernie Sanders and Yang and Elizabeth, we all hate greed. We're socialist. We need to start acting like it. The age phobia from wiggers and like the Gen Z dudes and the Gen Z period needs to end. I will literally whip out those 300 studies in a 3-ring binder if you want me to show you the proof that young dudes corrupt DNA of their children. I will prove that to you. Or that my age group, Gen X, will give your kids stronger DNA. I'll go into everything with you, and I'll do it at a restaurant. Like, if you want to get a burger sometime, I'm here, you know what I mean? I am here for you. But until then, I'm not. I'm just there, you know? Observing the greed and the bullshit and the bigotry and waiting for it to burn into hell. But anyway, hi, I'm Lucas. I just wanted to say hello. I thought you were beautiful, and I wanted to know if you wanted to get a burger sometime. And I mean, I know a lot of people are like vegans and vegetarians now, so I know some places about that. I'm actually looking into veganism, so I'm doing my research. Right now I'm an omnivore, but I want to lose some more weight and lower my blood sugar. So if you're a vegan, it's not going to offend me. If you're a meat eater or omnivore, it's not going to offend me. Oh, and I'm not against sexual promiscuity either. I mean, I'm left-wing. You know, it's Washington State. Most of us are left-wing and progressive. I don't care if you're poly or whatever, you know. I just, it's COVID-19. And you go down to the bar scene like Fast Eddie's or any of the bars, the Globe or Garageland. It's just a bunch of, like, people without masks, not social distancing, swooping chicks, like 2 to 12 at a time. I've seen it. It's greedy, and it's against the left-wing, and it's against science. I want you to be safe. I think the little Gen Z dudes are the problem. Anyway, I know I've said it like 3-4 times, but hi, I'm Lucas. I thought you were beautiful, and I just wanted to see if you wanted to go out sometime.
Well, not exactly, sweetheart. Okay means absolute perfect health, absolute perfect sympathy and empathy, absolute perfect intelligence. Are you in perfect health? I mean, even I can't say I'm in perfect health. My mom was 24 when I was born, so I'm in that range where it would be the perfect egg fecundity of telomerase. My dad was 28, but you know, we didn't know this stuff till 2012, and there's been 300 studies just from one team, and there's like 4 teams. You got to look at it as a whole. The whole species is getting stupider. The intelligence rates of the species has dropped since 1975, the physical fitness since 1980, and empathy since 2000. So I mean, like, look around. Does it seem like people are less caring, less intelligent, and less physically fit? It should. I mean, just in general, people are bad, you know what I'm saying? And it's getting worse. Like, there was that movie Idiocracy that just seems like post-Trump America, where even the Democrats are out there womanizing during COVID-19. They go to the bars and they swoop two at a time because they're greedy. The women give in to greed even though they're socialist. The dude has a nice car, but he preaches about how he's a good liberal dude, and he probably is. But those chicks go to that guy 2 or more at a time because he's greedy and has a nice car. They'll be pro-BLM but age phobic, won't make eye contact with you. If you're Gen X, stuff like that. The food's getting worse for you. It costs more money to do things. All these people have to work really, really hard to maintain a home when only one person had to work outside the home to maintain it. Family of 4. And now it's like 2 or 3 people have to. I mean, the abject hypocrisy of liberals like us, the abject greed, money worship, giving into the greedy guys, the cell phone screens crack, we haven't been to the moon in a long time. The IQ of the species has dropped 14 IQ points since the Victorian era. There's a lot of studies showing a downward slope since 1975. Mark McGwire, the baseball player, had to take all these drugs to be at the level of Babe Ruth. When Babe Ruth didn't need drugs, we didn't even invent internal medicine until the 1900s, late 1800s, because the life expectancy became 50 in 1900, but the life expectancy in the Roman era was 70, and they didn't have all the drugs. They had herbs and salves and organic treatments, the stuff where we need drugs in order to survive. The flat bill baseball cap craze, which doesn't block the sun. Why do people bend the baseball caps? Well, why do baseball players bend the baseball caps? Because it covers more area of the sun. Being blocked from UV rays, blocking UV rays is important as a baseball player because you're playing a sport outside, but people had the flat bill in Spokane. And most Gen Z dudes are pretty greedy. How many women do they need? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Why do women give in to greed when they're left wing? Why is healthy food like vegan food more expensive than food like Cheetos? Why is the healthy stuff more expensive? Why does it cost an exorbitant amount of money to go to school and college? Why do we have to even have the debate about like free college in 2020 when Europe looks at that like these Americans are way behind in the times? Everybody's preparing for the second wave of COVID-19, but meanwhile you go to the bar scene in America and it's just like one guy swooping 6 chicks and then walking in the apartment for you know what reasons, sex. But they're in the bars, no masks. That's all stupidity. That's all just evidence. As a whole, the human species is going down the tubes. Why do nice cars that don't pollute, the hybrids and the solar power cars, cost so much? Why don't we have a forced cap on pollution? Why do people like Greta Thunberg even have to exist to protest human-caused climate change in 2020? Why is Europe so green and still Greta's protesting? Why is America so backwards when it comes to things like empathy and sympathy and intelligence? Why is everybody preparing for the winter wave of viruses, but they're at the bar swooping chicks? I'm going to keep bringing that one up because that's absurd. You're left wing and you're just going to allow a dude to swoop 2 to 6 chicks? Isn't that womanizing like Trump? Isn't that Trumpanzee behavior? Why are Gen Z dudes so greedy and mean? How come they never hook you up with a chick if you're Gen X? Why the greed? Why do they get mad when they hear about the older sperm telomerase? Isn't So, I mean, as a whole, we need to look at the human species, and what I'm seeing is disgusting and is completely evidence of genetic damage. Why is it when you go on Tinder, they're all for interracial, as we should be, because mixed race DNA causes longer telomeres and healthier children. So mixed race is all good. I get that you're a white girl, but you're blonde and Scandinavian from where I'm saying. So at that, I'm not against white women because I'm German, Irish, and you're Scandinavian. That's technically mixed race. And I'm open-minded to all mixed race stuff. So why is it that there's the acceptance of interracial on Tinder and the dating sites and the bar scene and school? You're all accepting of the end of racism, but what about intergenerational? You got to be like, ew, gross at that. Well, in the 1950s, if you were black and your partner was white, weren't they like, ew, gross at that? Why the hypocrisy in a very left-wing state? Why the abject giving in to greed? Why the abject giving in to money when Bernie Sanders won the 2016 primary and the 2020 primary? You have to look at, as a species, are we hypocritical and genetically flawed? I would say so on many, many levels. I think as scientifically literate people, meaning the left wing, we need to look at things like high telomerase points, because the egg high telomerase point is 21, and that creates the strongest babies, so they give a range of 18 to 24. It's also high progesterone, which maintains the abilities of the uterus. The milk-producing glands are at that best point at 18 to 24, so that's the best time for a woman to have a child. And that causes greater health in the child. That's why it's good for that to occur. So, with men, the 300 studies from that one team say 35 to 55-year-old dudes are at the exact same point as 18 to 24-year-old women in terms of telomerase in the reproductive cells, which translates to strong baby DNA. And I'm here to save the lives of babies. And, I'm also here to find true love. I'm a guy. But I'm also pursuing a doctorate in age gap breeding, kind of. I'm working on the Associates of Science, so I can go to the next level, and the next level will take me 20 years. But in that time, a lot of information is going to come out that basically says, yes, the Gen Z egg and yes, the Gen X sperm together would create the strongest zygote. And I understand you don't want to have kids. I'm just putting it out there. Also, I think that when it comes to you with your boyfriend, I would probably be I'm 40, so you wouldn't have to punish me as much for my little mistakes. I've made my mistakes, darling. I know how to please a woman. One thing, she's the boss. You don't come to that point of realization until you're at least a 35-year-old man. She's the boss. Also, a thing that you notice a lot with young guys these days, not always, but a lot of them are at dude and nigga and man with their girlfriends. That's immature. And all the girlfriends agree, you should be at honey, baby, and sweetheart with me. If your boyfriend is at honey, baby, and sweetheart, he is far more evolved than most guys. Because most of those guys are at dude and nigga. It's the thing where the wiggers are out there like swooping two hot Asian chicks. It's like, why do you go to these sexist ass dudes when you're left wing? Because those guys are losing those women, you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, she was disrespectful. No, dude, you're like 25. I'm pretty sure that you were disrespectful. Oh, but women are bitches. No, the patriarchy. And they're like, well, you're one of those tit supporters. Yeah, dude, I'm not a Republican. The thin blue line, the military guys that you see at P.F. Chang's and the sheeple that want to be them with the two women at a time. Okay, so you're a Democrat but you're greedy? How are you not like a Republican? Oh, because you have money. Nice Bernie Sanders sticker on your car, but aren't you a bit greedy? It's stuff like that where people just give in to greed even though they're technically liberals. No comprende. Seems like BLM, but age phobia. ACAB, but classism. Thin blue line, but every word of Jesus is denied, like the greed and the lovelessness towards us, and just the abject poverty of their avarice. Oh, you're a Christian, but you're going to deny Luke 12:15 or John 13:34 or Matthew 6:24. Look, I get it. I'm an atheist, but at the same time, Muslims are the biggest hypocrites on the planet. That are, but in the United States, it's the Christians. Oh my God, I know the freaking Bible, and I know their behavior, and they're nothing like Jesus would want. Christians are nothing like Jesus would want. I mean, I'm already at sweetheart and darling with you, and I don't know you that well. I just refer to my friends that are women by sweetheart and darling now because it's just the way I am. It's the way, if you watch Friends, that's how the guys are with their platonic friend, females, because they're always potential mates, and so they're always at honey and sweetheart with each other if they're man and woman. You know, dudes together can be dude, women together can be dude, but between men and women, the opposite sex thing, sweetheart, babe, and honey. But you don't reach that point of comfort until you're at least 35. And J-Lo said that this thing where she said that men are not truly men, they're still boys until they're 35 years old. I would go with 40, J-Lo. I would say 40. And also, like, the young dudes hearing the information about telomerase get all ornery. It's like, I wanted to have kids, so how dare you? I want. The misogyny of not accepting the information about telomerase from these young dudes is how they'll get angry when you talk about the telomerase points. But the guys my age, Gen X and baby boomers, are like, that's freaking awesome. But like the millennials and the Gen Z dudes are like, oh god damn it. Like, they're acting like old men. You know what I mean? Like, the old men are acting like young men. Back in the day, in like the 1800s, like, think of Alice down the looking glass. Alice was a precocious child that was very intelligent, but now it's just like this thug behavior from women that age in America. It's like the mom will say, well, you'll come to the realization that older men are better when you're about 30, and then they'll have some sort of wise thing, and then like 5 days later, like the stupid son will come to some realization that his father had a week ago, or the daughter a week ago, when in like the Victorian era, it's like we were getting smarter and smarter and smarter because dads were older and moms were younger. That's funny to me. Think about it this way. I'm not knocking your boyfriend, but if I were standing side to side with him, he's the soda and I'm the alcohol. Fermentation, aging. He's the milk, I'm the cheese. He's the yeast, I'm the bread. He's the seed, I'm the plant. He's the calf, I'm the cow. I'm the adult in the situation. I'm just saying I'd date you. I think you'd be a worthy chick to date. And I think that I could prove myself better than some guy that's under 40 years old. Easily. I could probably love you, show you the affection that you don't get and deserve. You would understand. I mean, one date with me, you would understand. I've gone on like friend dates with women your age, and immediately they start talking about how I'm the great dude, but the boyfriend is the POS.
what you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.